Have you ever felt the more you think deeply, the more isolated you become? The more you understand, the less people want to listen. Why are the wisest minds in history so often feared? They wield no armies, command no wealth, yet their questions unsettle the world. Socrates led no legions, but his mind was his weapon, and for that he was sentenced to death. Society praises intelligence in theory, but fears it in practice. The truly dangerous mind is the one that dares to question the very foundations of our reality. Socrates did not offer grand pronouncements. His revolution was not of swords, but of questions, a quiet insurgency against false certainty. He stripped away illusions, leaving people exposed in their own ignorance. This was the Socratic method, demolishing pretense, not building knowledge. His declaration, "I know that I know nothing," was revolutionary. It threatened the pillars of certainty society depends on. Socrates did not offer new answers. He revealed the abyss beneath our assumptions, and that was the true terror. For millennia, our survival depended on the tribe. Conformity meant safety, dissent meant danger. The intelligent mind, able to see patterns and question traditions, threatens the unity of the herd. To ask why is to challenge the very foundation of belonging. The herd fears what it cannot predict, and the truly independent mind is the most unpredictable of all. The unforgivable question is always, why? Socrates was not a warrior in the traditional sense. He carried no sword and wore no armor. Yet he waged one of the most profound wars in history, armed only with questions. His battlefield was the agora of Athens. His weapon, the question, dismantled the bravado of generals and the rhetoric of politicians. Socrates exposed the fragile foundations of power, showing that authority rested not on knowledge, but on unchallenged belief. He was an intellectual insurgent, dissolving power by revealing its illusions, far more dangerous than any who sought the throne. Humans crave certainty, shared truths, stable rules, and the comfort of knowing. Socrates shattered this comfort. He didn't replace old answers with new ones. He exposed the emptiness beneath our confident beliefs. His method was demolition, not construction, a relentless questioning that left people standing on nothing. "I know that I know nothing" was his rebellion, freeing himself from dogma and pride. For others this was terrifying. Their status and identity depended on their supposed knowledge. Socrates forced Athens to see their cherished beliefs as fragile illusions, not solid truths. Most would rather cling to comforting lies than face the freedom and fear of the unknown. The mind abhors a vacuum, filling it with stories and shared myths to ward off chaos. Socrates didn't offer a new story. He left only a void, stripping away every claim to knowledge. This was more dangerous than any rival ideology. It threatened the very foundation of society. If leaders don't know what justice or courage is, how can they lead? Socrates revealed that society's pilots were flying blind, guided by habit, not truth. Most people decorate the rubble of their beliefs and call it home. The one who questions the structure is seen as a vandal, not a liberator. Socrates left people exposed in the open field, shivering in the emptiness he revealed. Socrates' questions were simple, childlike even, but devastating. He bypassed the elite's complex defenses, asking what their knowledge was really built on. Simple questions demanded simple answers, and the wise faltered. Socrates made philosophy democratic, showing anyone could seek truth. This threatened the powerful, who depended on the mystique of complexity. By exposing ignorance with simplicity, he committed the ultimate transgression. His method's sharpest edge was its simplicity. It cut straight to the bone. Socrates' humility was his greatest weapon. He claimed ignorance, never took a position, and disarmed opponents. He let others teach, only to reveal their confusion through gentle questioning. The reversal was devastating. The teacher became the exposed pupil. Socrates didn't humiliate with arrogance, but with honest inquiry. He forced people to confront their own ignorance, not by attack, but by reflection. His humility unlocked defenses, forcing introspection. Athens couldn't bear the mirror he held up, so they shattered it. Socrates was dangerous not for his certainty, but for his comfort with uncertainty. Our survival depended on conformity. Unity meant safety, dissent meant danger. The intelligent mind, by seeing differently, becomes a natural dissenter. Their insights disrupt the group's harmony, making them a threat. The herd doesn't celebrate uncomfortable truths, it recoils from them. The messenger is blamed for the fear their message brings. This ancient programming persists. The mind that sees too much threatens the herd's survival. The first conflict is clear. The seer is always at odds with the pack that prefers not to look. The intelligent individual often becomes the uncomfortable prophet, seeing cracks in society's foundations before anyone else. Their warnings, born of logic and foresight, are met with suspicion or ridicule, not gratitude. The herd craves comfort, dismissing the prophet's bitter truths as fear-mongering. Their greatest crime is being right too soon, forcing others to feel the coming pain before they're ready. Society is built on predictability. Laws, customs, and traditions keep the herd moving together. But the truly intelligent mind is a glitch in this matrix, driven by curiosity and truth, not approval or wealth. The herd fears what it cannot control. The independent thinker is a rogue element, free in a way the rest are not. Socrates chose death over silence, proving that the cages of society are, in the end, only illusions. Sometimes thinking deeply doesn't make life easier, it makes it heavier. And when your mind doesn't fit the mold, it can feel like the world turns silent around you. That's where therapy isn't weakness, it's a weapon. Online therapy offers CBT-based support that's private, effective, and designed for minds like yours. Use code THERAPY20 for 20% off. Links in the description. Talk to someone who understands the war behind your eyes. Much of who we are comes from the groups we belong to: family, nation, faith. These collective identities give us belonging and purpose. But when someone questions a core belief, it feels like a personal attack. The group reacts defensively, often demonizing the dissenter. Socrates, for example, was condemned not for violence, but for asking questions that threatened Athens' sense of itself. The intelligent individual often stands apart, marked by the outsider's gaze. While the herd is immersed in society's rituals, the thinker observes from a distance, seeing patterns and contradictions others miss. This perspective brings insight, but also loneliness, a barrier between the thinker and simple belonging. The herd senses this difference, often responding with suspicion or fear. The outsider's gaze is a silent challenge, and for this they remain forever apart. Let me ask you something. Have you ever said something true and watched people flinch, change the subject, or shut down completely? Drop your moment in the comments. I want to hear how your mind shook the room. Socrates' final act unfolded in a crowded Athenian courtroom. Officially, he was charged with impiety and corrupting the youth. But beneath these accusations lay a deeper truth. Socrates embarrassed the powerful by exposing their ignorance and teaching the young to question authority. The trial was not justice, but vengeance, a desperate attempt to smash the mirror he held up to society and silence the reflection they could not bear. During his trial, Socrates refused to beg for mercy or play the expected part. Instead, he declared himself a gift to Athens, a gadfly sent to awaken the city. He insisted that a life without questioning was not worth living. His words turned the trial on its head, accusing Athens of living unexamined lives. In killing Socrates, they shattered a mirror, yet his questions echo on, immortalized by their verdict. When sentenced to death, Socrates remained calm. His friends wept and offered escape, but he refused, choosing principle over life. For Socrates, the body was a vessel, the soul's integrity was everything. He drank the hemlock without fear, showing that true freedom is mastery over oneself. The state could kill his body but not touch his soul, his final triumphant lesson. If this is speaking to something you've always felt but never heard out loud, you're in the right place. Subscribe if you have made it this far. Socrates' execution was meant to silence a dangerous voice and restore order. But you cannot kill an idea with poison or a sword. His death scattered the seeds of his philosophy, making him a martyr and amplifying his questions across centuries. Socrates, the man, was mortal, but as a symbol of intellectual courage, he became immortal. The instinct to conform is a silent force shaping our behavior, often without our awareness. In Solomon Ash's famous experiment, people denied their own eyes just to fit in with the group. This is the agony of conformity, to betray your perception or face the group's suspicion. The intelligent person resists enduring pain for the sake of truth. In a world of groupthink, this makes them both dangerous and misunderstood. Society, for all its celebration of innovation in hindsight, has always been in the business of domestication. It seeks to tame the wild, unpredictable edges of human nature and channel them into predictable, productive behavior. It takes the raw energy of the individual and molds it to fit the needs of the collective. We are taught from a young age how to behave, how to think, and what to value. This process is designed to create compliant citizens who will keep the intricate machinery of society running smoothly. The educational system, social etiquette, and corporate culture are all, in their own way, mechanisms of this grand taming project. They reward obedience and punish deviance. The truly intelligent mind, however, is fundamentally untamable. It resists domestication. This is not necessarily a conscious act of rebellion, but an intrinsic quality of its nature. A mind that is wired to question, to analyze, and to seek underlying principles cannot simply accept the rules handed down to it. It must understand why the rules exist. It must test their logic and probe their foundations. This relentless need to deconstruct and understand is antithetical to the process of domestication, which requires a degree of unthinking acceptance. The intelligent mind is like a wild animal that refuses to be broken, constantly biting at the leash of convention. This untamable quality is what makes the intelligent person so feared. Society can manage dissent that operates within its own framework. It can handle a political rival or a business competitor. These are tamed beasts fighting for a better position within the enclosure. The truly intelligent outsider, however, is a threat of a different order. They are not fighting for a position within the system. Their very existence challenges the validity of the enclosure itself. They are the wolf that reminds the flock that the shepherd's fence is not the boundary of the entire world. They represent a wild, chaotic freedom that is deeply unsettling to the domesticated herd. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche touched upon this very dynamic, suggesting that society often takes the powerful primal instincts of the noble individual and relabels them as vices while elevating the timid, herd-like behaviors and calling them virtues. Society tames the wolf into a dog, he might have argued, and then condemns the wolf for not barking. The intelligent mind is that untamed wolf. It refuses to become a dog. It cannot be trained to perform tricks for the approval of the crowd or to be satisfied with the scraps of validation thrown from the table. Its loyalty is not to the master, but to the wild, untamed wilderness of the truth. In the lexicon of modern society, we often conflate intelligence with a very different quality: compliance. The systems we have built, from the schoolhouse to the boardroom, are designed to reward not genuine intellectual curiosity, but the ability to master and conform to a pre-existing set of rules. A good student is often not the one who asks the most profound and disruptive questions, but the one who excels at memorizing the given answers and reproducing them on an exam. A good employee is not the one who challenges the fundamental strategy of the company, but the one who efficiently executes the tasks they are assigned. We have created a system that praises the intelligence of the high performer, but this is often just a measure of high-level compliance. Real intelligence, in its raw and untamed form, is often the enemy of this system. It is inherently disruptive. While compliance asks how, intelligence asks why. While compliance seeks to optimize the existing process, intelligence questions whether the process is necessary at all. This is a crucial distinction. The compliant mind is a valuable asset for maintaining and improving the status quo. The intelligent mind, however, is a threat to it. It sees the flaws in the system not as minor inefficiencies to be tweaked, but as fundamental errors that may require the entire structure to be dismantled and rebuilt. This creates a paradox. Society claims to seek out intelligent individuals, but what it often means is that it seeks highly capable, compliant individuals. It wants the processing power of a supercomputer, but only if that computer agrees to run the company's outdated software without question. When it encounters a mind that refuses to run the standard programming, a mind that wants to rewrite the code from scratch, it reacts with fear and hostility. The system is designed to identify and promote those who are good at playing the game, not those who stand on the sidelines and point out that the game itself is rigged or pointless. This is the eternal tragedy of the intelligent outsider. They possess the very quality that society needs most for its long-term survival and evolution, the ability to see beyond the current paradigm, but they are punished for it in the short term. They are square pegs in a world of round holes, and the world expends a great deal of energy trying to hammer them into shape. The Socratic struggle is replayed every day in classrooms, offices, and forums around the world. It is the clash between the mind that seeks to understand and the system that demands to be obeyed. It is the timeless war between true intelligence and mere compliance. To be truly intelligent is to be disruptive by design. It is not a choice or a cultivated attitude. It is a fundamental property of a mind that sees the world with unusual clarity. A system, whether it is a social custom, a corporate hierarchy, or a political ideology, can only maintain its stability through a kind of collective myopia. It requires its members to not look too closely at its contradictions, to ignore its inefficiencies, and to accept its foundational assumptions without question. This shared, gentle blindness is the glue that holds the structure together. The intelligent mind is like a solvent that dissolves this glue. Its very perception is a disruptive force. This disruption operates on multiple levels. Intellectually, it challenges the comforting narratives that give people a sense of certainty and purpose. The intelligent person is the one who points out that the emperor has no clothes, a truth that is not only embarrassing to the emperor, but also deeply unsettling to the crowd that has invested so much in admiring his imaginary finery. They introduce cognitive dissonance on a mass scale, forcing people into the uncomfortable space between what they want to believe and what logic dictates. This is rarely a welcome service. People do not thank you for taking away a comforting illusion. Emotionally, the intelligent outsider is disruptive because they model a form of freedom that is both alluring and terrifying to the herd. They demonstrate that it is possible to live without the constant need for social approval, to be guided by an internal compass rather than external pressures. This is a silent accusation against the life of conformity. It suggests to others that their own choices, their own compromises, and their own fears might not be as necessary as they thought. The free individual forces the caged individual to see the bars of their own cage, and this is a painful and resented realization. Ultimately, the intelligent mind is disruptive because it is an agent of evolution. Societies, like biological organisms, tend towards stasis. They find a comfortable equilibrium and resist change, as change is risky and requires energy. But stasis in the long run leads to stagnation and death. The intelligent mind is the random mutation, the new gene that introduces a possibility for adaptation and growth. While the herd sees this mutation as a deformity, a dangerous anomaly to be corrected, it is, in fact, the only hope for survival in a changing world. The disruption caused by intelligence is not a flaw, it is its entire purpose. It is designed to break the old so that something new may be born. The story of Socrates is not just ancient history. Today, the digital agora is our public square, where questioning voices face the swift judgment of the online mob. The hemlock is now cancellation, and the herd enforces conformity with speed and fury. Modern Socratic figures challenge consensus, but risk being silenced, not debated. The stage has changed, but the fear of the questioning mind remains the same. Society claims to value intelligence, building universities, awarding prizes, and praising critical thinking. But in practice, we reward intellect only when it serves the system, not when it questions it. We celebrate dead innovators, but silence living dissenters. The lone genius is honored in retrospect, yet shunned in the present. Our praise for intellect is a hollow echo, not a true embrace. The modern world has not eliminated the fear of uncomfortable truths. It has simply developed more sophisticated psychological mechanisms to defend against them. One of the most powerful of these is a phenomenon known as psychological reactance. This is the deep-seated instinct to rebel when we feel our freedom of thought or belief is being threatened. When an intelligent voice presents a well-reasoned but uncomfortable argument, one that challenges our political identity, our lifestyle choices, or our moral certitude, it can trigger a powerful backlash. Instead of considering the argument, we instinctively reject it and double down on our original belief, not because it is logical, but as an assertion of our own autonomy. This reactance is the engine of modern denial. The intelligent person, armed with facts and logic, believes they are offering a gift of clarity, but the recipient perceives it as an attack on their identity and a threat to their freedom to believe what they want. The stronger and more logical the argument, the more threatened they feel, and the more violently they react against it. This explains the frustrating phenomenon where presenting overwhelming evidence to someone often serves only to strengthen their commitment to a false belief. The modern truth-teller is not fighting against ignorance. They are fighting against the very psychological wiring that protects the ego from the discomfort of being wrong. This dynamic is amplified by the echo chambers of our digital world. We are now able to curate our reality, to surround ourselves only with information and voices that confirm our existing biases. In this filtered world, the Socratic voice of dissent is not just uncomfortable, it feels like a foreign invasion, a glitch in the curated matrix of our beliefs. The algorithms are designed to give us more of what we already like, protecting us from the cognitive dissonance that is necessary for intellectual growth. We have become accustomed to the warm, comfortable bath of confirmation, and the intelligent mind that tries to throw a bucket of cold, hard reality on us is met with rage. Thus, the modern echo of Socrates is one of profound and frustrating futility. He is no longer just speaking to a crowd in a single marketplace. He is shouting into 1,000 different soundproofed rooms at once. The fear of intelligence has not disappeared. It has been institutionalized and automated. The herd is no longer just a group of people. It is a network, a self-reinforcing system of belief that actively identifies and expels dissenting nodes. Society has not conquered its fear of the truth. It has simply perfected the art of not having to listen to it. Intelligence is a torch, bright, but it burns those who hold it. The path of the thinker is lonely, a narrow trail up a steep mountain. Yet it is the only way to see beyond the fog. The legacy of Socrates is a challenge. To find yourself, think for yourself. If this video stirred something real in you, like, share and hit subscribe. Drop a comment. Why do you think intelligent people unsettle society? The next video might just echo your answer. And don't forget, if your mind feels like a burden, help is in the description. 20% off with Therapy 20. Keep thinking, keep questioning. That's how revolutions start.